Before I bring in my interview with Sam Husseini, I wanted to show just a couple of his greatest hits, just to remind you what a goddamn hero this guy is. This is him speaking to the spokesperson for the State Department and about whether they have any respect for the ICC, the International Criminal Court, and why they ignore it. Of course, the ICC, you guys are well aware, has put out arrest warrants for Netanyahu and other Israeli officials. And anyway, here he is.
Will the State Department finally support International Criminal Court mechanisms in international law regarding Israel? If not, why not?
We, of course, remain engaged with the ICC through a number of mechanisms. We believe that there are a number of avenues for holding those accountable for atrocities, especially in the context of Russia and Ukraine. But I've not seen these comments, so I don't have anything additional to offer on that.
But the State Department continues to not.
There's lots of avenues. There's things, words. I'm saying words right now. Rhubarb, rhubarb, rhubarb. And now, next question.
Want the ICC to be implemented regarding Israel?
On the matter of Israel and the Palestinian Authority, you saw me speak quite clearly to Saeed's question about our desire that both sides not take steps that are going to incite tensions and take us further away from a negotiated two-state solution. We've been quite...
Taking steps to incite tensions is one of the most delicate ways to say Israel's committing genocide. Both sides should not incite tensions. It's funny how genocide tends to incite tension. It really does. People, for some odd reason, unclear as to why or why not, people seem to they just get their panties in a twist when there's a genocide being committed. And I don't know why that is.
Clear about that consistently.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, but you have refused to apply the ICC over the years to Israel.
I just don't have anything additional to offer on this.
I don't know what the reason for that is. You've stated reasons before, but you're unwilling to state them now.
Your colleague has had her hand up.
I've had my hand up.
Your colleague's had her hand up. Oh, they cannot, they are incapable of of actually answering these questions. So they do these pathetic attempts at avoiding them. Anyway, here's another one. This is the most recent one. This is Sam at the UN. This time he is asking a question of the Israeli ambassador.
Our position regarding Lebanon has always been very clear. We would prefer a diplomatic solution. We are entirely focused on achieving our objectives, which in the north is the return of our displaced citizens who have become refugees in their own country, back to their homes, back to their schools, back to their families. The suffering is always on our mind. If diplomacy fails to return our residents to their homes, then we will use all means at our disposal in accordance with international law to achieve our aims. And we will continue to target terrorists. But all of this can stop immediately. Once Hezbollah will stop firing missiles and rockets into our civilian communities, there will be no cycle of violence in the region.
Hezbollah says they'll stop if you do a ceasefire in Gaza. So if you really care about the people in the north, why don't you do that?
The linkage that Iran decided to do between Hezbollah and Hamas, holding the people of Lebanon hostage, that's something which I'm not familiar with. How can you do that? How can
holding the people of Lebanon hostage as if this absolute viper parasite cares about the people of Lebanon. Israel just obliterated who knows how many people in Lebanon in order to kill a couple leaders.
So everyone should just you asked me a question. You asked me a question.
I'm answering your question.
You asked me a question. The world should just step aside as you do all this carnage. The world should just step aside as you commit genocide. You asked me a question.
You ask a question, you get an answer. The linkage that the Iranian regime did between Hezbollah and Hamas.
So obviously he's not going to answer, but Sam, of course, has a great point there, which is you just expect the whole world to stand by while you commit this gross carnage. We're just the whole world is supposed to go, yeah, Israel, do whatever you want, bomb whoever you want, kill however many innocent civilians you want. Just go ahead. So now, without further ado, here is my interview with Sam Husseini. Hello, Sam. Thank you for joining me.
Great to be with you, Lee. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I'm a huge fan of your work. Always have been. You're one of the few, and we just saw a clip from the UN. You were one of the few, if not the only one, to actually press the Israeli ambassador about the carnage that Israel is committing, both in Lebanon and in Gaza. And you've done a tremendous job of also trying to hold U.S. officials accountable at these press conferences they give. Most people can tell this is kind of kabuki theater. I mean, these people are lying to our faces. They're many of them are war criminals or war criminal adjacent, and they're lying to us. Why is it important for you and for all of us that you are there pressing them, trying to hold accountable when it does seem to be some form of theater?
I think I do it to try to expose it further and to make it evident to more and more people that they don't have honest answers to simple, direct questions. Does Israel have nuclear weapons? Why, if Israel's concerned about people in the north, why don't they cut a deal and, stop the carnage in Gaza? And then they wouldn't be receiving any bombing and wouldn't have to be bombing tons of other people. So I'm trying to make it explicit for, people who might be on the fence, might not be awake, might not really understand what's going on.
And without asking you to speak for any individual colleague of yours, why is it that it seems like so many of your fellow reporters, journalists are not willing, at least not willing to push them as far as you do?
Yeah, well, I mean, I get singled out for exclusion because of what I do. I was going to the State Department pretty regularly, and they try to avoid me like hell. But the last month or two, they've totally, will.
Oh, really?
Not, they'll go reporter, jump over Sam, reporter. And, when I say follow up, that's usually respected. When I'm trying to follow up on a direct line of questioning from somebody else, that's ignored. And I still try to elbow my way in. But, it's a hard slog. So it's, a lot of journalism is effectively access journalism. And if you don't, either play ball or at least, play nice with them, they'll do everything they can to ice you out.